Here are some biblical signs, names, and phrases. Let's get started. The sign compassion. To sign compassion, simply take both hands, bring them to the heart just like this. Now from here, you're going to actually pretend as though you're squeezing or massaging the heart. It's kind of like a concept of the heart becoming soft. From the side and from the front again. That is how I sign compassion. The sign wrath. To sign wrath, simply take both hands. What I do is I pretend I have claws, just like this. Bring them to the chest, just like this. And from here, I'll pretend as though I'm ripping something from the inside to outward. Just like this. From the side and from the front again. That is how I sign wrath. The sign battle. To sign battle, simply take both hands. I actually form the number 4. Bring them on the side like this. You're going to align them and they make the same motion going back and forth, just like this. From the side, front again. That is how I sign battle. The sign offering or monetary offering. To sign is simply take both hands. What I do is I pretend to make the number 9 with both hands. Bring them down towards the pocket. And from here, I pretend as though I'm taking something out of my pocket, money, and bringing it forward just like this. From the side, from the front again. That is how I sign monetary offering. Now for some biblical phrases. For the phrase breakthrough. What I do is I actually sign success, meaning finally we had some success. They finally broke through, in other words. So to sign is simply take both index fingers, I bring them right there towards the sides of the mouth, and from here I will go outward. I do a small loop it around, and then go up just like this. From the side, from the front again. That is how I sign breakthrough. For the phrase to make whole. Now to sign this, I use 3 separate signs. So let's go over the first. The first is like the sign again. So I take my non-dominant hand, bring that out in front of the body with the palm up. And then I take my dominant hand and I tap the center of the palm of the non-dominant hand, just like this. Now for the second sign, take the non-dominant hand, bring that out in front of the body, forming a fist. Now with my dominant hand, the fingers are spread apart, and from here, I form the letter A, bring it around, and rest it on top of the back of the non-dominant hand, just like this. Now, for the last portion of that sign, I actually take my non-dominant hand, flex the fingers just like this. Now, form the same shape with the dominant hand, and bring it to the equal level of your non-dominant hand, just like this. Now let me put that whole sign together. From the side. From the front again. That is how I sign to make whole. For the phrase moving in the mist. To sign this, simply take both hands. I actually bring the fingers together just like this. My dominant hand is going to be a little bit higher than my non-dominant hand. From here, I do a circular motion. And from here, I turn my non-dominant hand over just like this. Flex down the middle finger of my dominant hand. Do a circular motion. And then come right down in the center with that middle finger just like this. So let me show you that whole sign. From the side, and from the front again. That is how I sign the phrase, moving in the mist. For the phrase, tribulation. To sign this, I'm using this like when you're saying, we all have trials and tribulations. So to sign this, what I do is I form B's with both hands, just like this. Now from here, I do a backward motion, gently hitting the face, just like this. From the side, front again. That is how I sign the phrase tribulation. Now for some biblical names. The sign Adam. The sign is simply take your dominant hand, form the letter A. Now with the thumb of the A, I actually tap right over here on my forehead, just like this. From the side, front again. That is how I sign Adam. For the sign Eve. To sign Eve, simply take your dominant hand, form the letter E, and bring the E right there on the chin, just like this, from the side, from the front again. That is how I sign Eve. The sign David. Now, David can have two separate signs. One of them could be King David or the Psalmist David. So if you're dealing with King David, simply take your dominant hand, form the letter D, bring that to the shoulder, and from here, bring that across the chest and downward, just like this. This is actually representing the pattern of the royal cloth that goes across the chest. So go D to the shoulder and down. Now, if you're talking about the Psalmist David, simply take your non-dominant hand, bring that out in front of the body. With your dominant hand, form the letter D and pretend as though you're playing and listening to music. So, King David and the Psalmist David. Use the one that pertains to your conversation. The sign Pentecostal. The sign Pentecostal, simply take your non-dominant hand, bring that out in front of the body just like this. Now, with your dominant hand, form the letter P, tap the back of the non-dominant hand just like this. Then from here, form the letter C. P, C. From the side, P, C. Front again, P, C. That is how I sign Pentecostal. The sign Peter. To sign Peter, simply take your non-dominant hand, bring that out in front of the body and form a fist. Now, this actually becomes a classifier for rock. Now, remember when Jesus was talking to his disciples and said, "Upon this rock I will build my church"? Now, from here, take your dominant hand, form the letter P, and tap the back of the fist of the non-dominant hand, just like this. From the side, front again. That is how I sign Peter. Now, on this video, I've shown you some biblical signs, biblical names, and phrases. If you've learned anything from this video, please do me the honor of first hitting the like button. Next, hit the subscribe button. And last but not least, hit the notification button and stay tuned for my next ASL video.